Before we begin this video, I recommend that you visit google.com and search for dinardata.com. This website is a great resource for the latest updates on Dinar Guru news, all conveniently located on one page. For more information, I encourage you to visit the site.
Hey, DC or whoever, I wouldn't count on Sadani coming to Washington, D.C. the way you think he is, because you already gave him the green light. You already removed the sanctions. You shouldn't have done all of that. You shouldn't have done any of these things, but you did. 48 hours have passed since al-Sadr's demand, and all indicators are against closing the embassy. What will happen? As we told you last week, the CBI did some swapping of currency. We believe that it's also part of the controlling of the American dollar. This swapping was done with 12 different countries. It causes us to wonder if this is the 12 that are going to be put in a basket. All of this was done not this Sunday but the Sunday before. Iraq is putting other currencies in their reserves as well. Caparoni says Iraq has nothing to export. Think about that. Third most oil reserves. Many countries only export oil with very strong currencies. Oil is not going away anytime soon. What should be put in the Sudanese bag on his visit to Washington? So al-Sadani heads back over to Washington. I don't know what he's going to gain by visiting with Joe Biden. TV is saying the CBI has reached the point where they are unable to defend the exchange rate, saying the dollar keeps rising. Who's saying the American dollar is out of control? It's the TV. It's this stubborn Iranian television media owners, politicians, parliament that refuses to work with Sadani. What should be put in Sudanese's bag during his visit to Washington? Quote, Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sadani received an official invitation from U.S. President Joe Biden to visit the White House. After months of ongoing controversy inside Iraq over Washington's postponement of the visit, which was delayed much since al-Sadani took office last October. The expert in Iraqi-American affairs and relations. A Sudanese visit to Washington must bring in his bag of achievements to prove to the American ally how he will deal with him in terms of oil, the economy, the dollar, the banking system, and others. Al-Shamari, no U.S. sanctions on Iraq and negotiations with Iran to create a platform for currencies other than the dollar. This is powerful monetary reform education. Iraq is sanction-free to do business with everyone from the USA even up to Iran. Al-Shamari, no U.S. sanctions on Iraq and negotiations with Iran to create a platform for currencies other than the dollar. New statement from Oil on the draft oil and gas law, quote, the government is committed to approving this law within the current government session, and it is also within the government curriculum. This is of course excellent news for us. Al-Shamari, there are no sanctions from the U.S. Treasury Department on Iraq. Quote, the launch of the platform is Iraq's entry into the international financial and economic system. There are no sanctions imposed on Iraq by the U.S. Treasury, but sometimes there is a tightening of standards to deliver potential political messages. Out of 329, only 32 Iraqi parliamentarians signed the closure of the American embassy. Documents, quote, 32 Iraqi parliamentarians, out of 329 others, submitted a request to the Presidency of Parliament to close the American embassy in Baghdad and expel Ambassador Alina Romansky.